I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
We're experiencing a population collapse in the United States. These unfair, predatory, and nonsensical laws that help enable women to penalize men who mistakenly had sex with them don't make sense. In a way, they're allowing women to penalize men for having sex with them by using a child as a belt in a way. You can punish the man with child support. You can punish him with bad custody agreements, etc. And they'll say, well, you're the one who had unprotected sex with her. But women have agency. Women have choice. Women are not, they're not under the control of men per se anymore. So she also decided to have sex with him as well. That's why everything should be fair, split down the middle, 50-50. There should not be a, well, he makes more than her. It doesn't matter. We both have equal investment in this child. We both decided to have sex with each other. To penalize the man because he has more money than her doesn't make any sense. And if she can't afford to take care of the child, it also makes no sense for her to be the sole caregiver. This is a breakdown, and then we'll go ahead and read through the Complex Sports article.
In a rather shocking revelation, Minnesota Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards claims his ex Ayesha Howard demanded $500,000 and an apology for the sole custody of their daughter. Now, Edwards is in the middle of a custody battle with his ex Ayesha Howard over their daughter, Aubrey Summers. And as per Edwards, Ayesha allegedly won't sign the papers.
Is it even a custody battle? He doesn't want custody. He doesn't want the kid. He didn't want the kid to begin with. It was a mistake. He wanted her to have an abortion. But because he's rich, she refused to. I think she actually requested a certain amount of money, and then I think he didn't give it to her. I'm double checking. But just because, now the man, she knew he was not going to marry her. She knew he didn't want to be a father. She purposely had the kid to use the child as a profit-generating asset. Not because she loved the child and he wanted the child and she wanted to be a mother. She already has another kid. This child is being used to extort this man. Fear of men. This is one of the worst nightmares men can have. Now, as a man, you want to meet women. You want to have sex. For a lot of men, putting a condom on actually defeats the entire purpose of having sex. That's just what it is. Just because he decided not to wear a condom, remember, they have condoms for women too. That means she also decided not to wear a condom. You cannot put the full responsibility and blame on him where it's not equally spread amongst the two people. Right now, she's wanting money from him, but he's not demanding any money from her. How is that fair? He actually said, I don't want the kid at all. I don't even want to meet the kid. If you're going to use this kid to try to penalize me or to extort me, keep the kid. I don't want nothing to do with it. Now, if she had got an abortion, he would have no say-so because she's the person in charge of her body. But that should also apply to now as well. If she decides to have the kid, she's in control of her body. If she doesn't, she's in control of her body. But to say that the man who has no choice whether she's going to keep the kid or not should have to pay if she decides to keep the kid, but he would have no say-so if she decided not to, it's nonsensical. These laws have to change. They're predatory. I don't care how rich a man is and how poor the woman is. It takes two to tangle. These laws are archaic. They are from a time when women had no autonomy. Before World War II, before World War I, actually. These laws are from a time when a woman could not work, she could not drive, she could not vote. These are all things of the past. Now that we're in the year 100 years later from these laws are from the 1930. It's 2025, almost 95 years later. These laws have to be updated. Fear of ending up in a situation like Anthony Edwards is what creates a lot of broken homes, but also it creates a lot of men who would rather be an incel or who would rather leave the country and have children or just to not have children at all. So what is that? So what happens to our population in our country when men, for the most part, decide they no longer want to participate in this scam? What happens? What happens when men who are the backbone of the country, who are the builders, who are the movers, who are the ones who built this place, when men decide they no longer want to participate in the system, what happens to society? The laws have gone too far. Now our marriage rates are lower than they've ever been in the history of our country. Our birth rates are so low that maternity wards are starting to close in hospitals. Men no longer want to participate. It makes no sense. And like I keep saying, until these laws are updated, until men and women are seen as equals under the law. Yeah, societally, they say men and women are equal, but the laws don't reflect as such. Until the laws start to reflect it, this country's birth rates will be in the gutter and our marriage rates will be in the gutter. Now, Kentucky is the first state to do something about that. And now their divorce rates are dropping. See, unfortunately, in the United States, there's an incentive to break up your family. There's an incentive to put a man on child support and to essentially leave and create a broken home if you're a woman. There's no incentive for men. That means it's unequal. And in a society that is so believing and pushing for equality, there's no way we can have a blind spot when it comes to this. The laws must be updated or the country will continue to suffer. Anthony Edwards is richer than most men on earth. That's not the point. If you're a poor man, this can happen to you too. Splitting up $50 is different than splitting up $500, but you're still having to split it. But the fact that you can weaponize children financially against men is why a lot of men are just opting out of this altogether.
Unless Edwards coughs up $500,000 and issues a public apology, the kind of demands she reportedly says cover her financial and reputational losses. And Howard previously claimed Edwards hasn't met their daughter and showed little interest. Edwards agreed to sole custody, but now faces this costly and complicated standoff. How do you think this case will find its resolution?
Unfortunately, it might eventually go in her favor. He can pay the entire child support bill up front, which they're saying he did that. The reports are conflicting. But she wants more money because apparently the money that she already received, a lot of it's already gone. See, these women are poor. They don't generate money. Money burns in their purses. They burn through it. They don't reproduce the money, so it's gone. It's never made a lot of sense while giving poor people a bunch of money, thinking that's going to make them not poor. It doesn't. It actually puts them in a worse situation. It's similar to the saying, are you better off teaching a man how to fish or giving a man a fish? These women have to work. Having sex and then birthing children for men who are not your husband cannot be seen as a line of work where that's your sole income. Children cannot be used as an asset to generate income. That does not make sense. That is unfair to men who you are expecting to pay. Now, these women were saying, we want to have kids. We're going to take care of them on our own. We're not going to ask a man for anything, and we're going to work. Then that's a different topic. But that's not the case. You want the man involved only financially. So that's extortion. That's literally removing this man's assets from him because, well, he didn't marry you, so you can't get him with a divorce. There's no settlement. You can accuse him of abuse and he'd have to give you some money, but you'd have to have some kind of proof, I would hope. The only other option is to try to get pregnant by him, even knowing that he doesn't want to have kids with you. Regardless if he has sex with you or not, he verbally articulated he didn't want children with you. If you decide to still have a kid with him, you cannot expect him to fund it. That's your business. You are an adult woman. You have equality. He's not your man. He's not your husband. Now, if it comes down to, well, how much am I going to have to pay for this bill? It should be split. There has to be caps put on child support, or this entire system collapses. Men cannot keep getting taken to the cleaners financially, publicly, and you are going to expect everyone else to just want to follow those same, to go through the same thing and follow those footsteps. We cannot. It doesn't make sense. Most men I know are scared to death to get a woman in the United States pregnant. Do you know how embarrassing that is for the country that men no longer want to participate? Because there are so many women out here who are enabled and allowed to literally extort men for money by using children. There's no matter how much money a man makes, there should be a cap. There should be a range. If a woman knew she was only going to get $300 to $1,500 a month max for a child, the extortion efforts would stop. The broken home, that culture of just having children with men and getting child support and getting government assistance, that entire culture would stop. But women are rewarded for bad behavior, and it's unfair. I'm sure even women are surprised that they can still do this hustle, the same hustle that their mother did and their grandmother did. We're looking at 3, maybe 4 generations that this has been allowed, probably since the 70s. This has to change. From Complex Sports, Anthony Edwards accuses ex Ayesha Howard of exploiting daughter as revenue generating asset, which she is absolutely doing. Anthony Edwards is escalating his legal battle with ex Ayesha Howard, accusing her of exploiting their 11-month-old daughter, Aubrey Summers Howard, for profit on social media and prolonging the custody litigation to fuel her online following. She's absolutely doing that. She's monetizing her daughter. The daughter is being used as a tool to hit and to punish Anthony Edwards, but also to boost her mother's social media status. In court documents filed September 30th in Los Angeles, Edwards' lawyer accused Howard has been explicitly transformed these proceedings into a public entertainment. It's a show. She's making a show and a mockery of the court by proceeding with this. Every court filing becomes a post. Every hearing becomes content. Every delay allows continued exploitation of this infant child who can consent to becoming a digital commodity, Edwards' attorney wrote in a trial brief. Absolutely true. This mother doesn't really care about the child. She cares about what the child can do. If the child can generate money, she wants the child. But if this was a child by a man she found out was homeless, she would probably put the kid up for adoption. She would not just keep the child and keep going on because it generates and serves her zero. So, but she cares to keep the child around because the father is Anthony Edwards. The filings continue. The evidence before the court establishes that Ayesha treats the minor child as a revenue-generating asset. She has publicly admitting to forcing her distressed child to continue performing for social media content, stating, "My baby is over content for the day, but mama got to get back to work." She coordinated with the child's appearances, with sponsors, product placements, monetizing every moment of this infant's existence. This woman is literally prostituting her infant child out. Lord knows what she's going to do for money with this child once whatever child support settlement she get is blown through and money gets tight. She, especially if Edwards' goal is just to give her a lump sum up front and you can never come back and that's going to be solidified. When that money's gone, Do you know what she's going to be doing with her daughter for money? She's already an escort herself. She's already a woman who's paid for her time. She doesn't have a job. Basically, her sex appeal, her, her genetics is what she lives off of. She's trying to make content, but we know I believe she was a dancer allegedly, or she did OF content. When times get rough, eventually, do you know what a woman with a daughter, do you know what they do with their daughters? She's already started. This is already going in the wrong direction, and the courts have to stop creating these women. Enabling these women is what's creating them. This whole system enables this behavior. It literally produces these type of people. Edwards said he has repeatedly offered Howard sole custody with no visitation for himself, just to bring the case to a close. He says, look, we're not fighting over custody. I don't want custody. You have full custody. You wanted the kid. It's your kid. Nothing to do with me. You shouldn't have even given her my last name. I'm not your husband. But he can't control that. She controls it. He doesn't even want custody. And he said, look, how much is child support going to be for 18 years? Okay, that comes out to $1 million. Here goes a lump sum. Don't ever contact me again. I don't want to know the kid. It's just like it's her body, her choice. It's his wallet, his choice. He should not be forced to do anything. When you force someone to do something, that's kin to rape. I thought we were against a rape culture. Financially raping someone is the equivalent for a man as physically raping for a woman. Forcing a man to pay for something that he doesn't want to, his labor is going towards something that he doesn't consent to, is not fair. And in a society where we're pushing for more equality, these laws are going to have to update. We have no choice. Hopefully videos like this eventually will hit the right ears and changes will come, but I mean, they're taking too long. This is because our population is being destroyed. They're closing maternity wards in hospitals. Men no longer want to participate. Do you understand what that means? There's only a small group of men that are still out here even getting a few women pregnant. The whole culture of having children and having families, these laws make that impossible. His attorney argued Howard has refused to sign judgments that give her everything she could legally obtain because an open case generates content for her 642,000 Instagram followers, while a closed case does not. So basically, this case can come to a close. He's offering her a settlement, and then this case is done. There is no more reopening it. There's no more contesting it when he makes more money or gets a new contract. Because, he's in the NBA today. He won't be in the NBA in 10 years. So his money's going to change, and whatever she's going to be getting monthly is going to completely change. It's going to be 1/10 of what it is because his income is going to change. He's going to be living off of his savings and whatever his retirement is going to be. So so it's in her best interest to sign this now. But the case being open makes her interesting. And it gives women who are preying on rich men, it gives them something to follow, aspire towards, and it gives them something to look forward to themselves. So that's why she wants to keep this case open. It's entertainment and content for her followers of degenerate women who are looking to trap men and prey on men. Howard, however, strongly disputes Edwards' narrative. In a declaration filed on October 1st, she argued that she only speaks publicly to correct the false rumors, such as claims she received $1 million settlement and accusing Edwards of lying, of trying to silence her. On the very same day this baseless rumor went viral, Mr. Edwards, as having generously paid a $1 million settlement, I was privately offered money to seal the proceedings. Howard told the court, the intentions were clear, to silence the truth and perpetuate a false narrative. Since then, I have endured relentless online harassment and even death threats directed at me and my child. Maybe stop exploiting your child. Maybe your child shouldn't be on the internet. She's a baby. Maybe you shouldn't be on the internet panhandling, begging a man who's not your husband to support you, penalizing him for having sex with you by forcing him to pay for a child of at all is wrong. It's dead wrong. And these laws, they're eventually going to change. There's no way this is going to continue because, for one thing, it's us men who make the laws. Us men make the rules. Us men are the ones who fight, and us men are the ones who keep this country alive. All this is based on men. So one day, as men, we will decide to change these laws. That's going to happen eventually. But for now, we have to deal with this. But one day, women being able to prey on men, hoping that they're going to get a meal ticket forever, will be a thing of the past. But for right now, it makes for good content, so we'll talk about it. She also called Edwards' exploitation accusations hypocritical, pointing out that the NBA guard himself has posted promotional content featuring another one of his children. That's his child. You're promoting your child. He's promoting his child, but the other child has consent. The other child's of a decent age, and they know what they're doing. You're monetizing a child that's a bastard. You're not even with the father. Yet Mr. Edwards himself publicly posts content with his other children, including promotional materials such as a Prada campaign featuring his infant daughter. I asked the court, is this exploitation when I post, but not when he does? What he does with his other children and his other children's mother, if they work out an agreement, that's nothing to do with you. You're exploiting the fact that the girl's father is Anthony Edwards without his consent. But so you're exploiting your child for money. You're monetizing the child. His other children, in a way, they're being paid. They're actually working. It's similar. It's only hypocritical because Edwards does not consent to any of this. That's the only part that's a problem. Edwards isn't a consenting party in this subject. Howard further accused Edwards and his lawyers of committing extrinsic fraud by concealing his extensive California business ties, pointing to filings showing his company, AE5 Enterprises, lists a Beverly Hills address as his principal office. These misrepresentations were made under sworn declaration and appeared to have intended to evade California's jurisdiction in a matter concerning child support, despite the child being both born in and residing in California. This is disgusting. All of these women, Brittany, what's her name? Brittany Renner, this 304 right here, all these different women, they purposely moved to California because the laws there allow for them to legally extort men. These women are not from California. They move there because their only goal in life is to try to figure out how to monetize their child to extort an unwilling man who never had intentions of making these children or for long term, making these children a long term source of income for these women. Now, Brittany Renner, she was never married to her baby daddy. She was never married to him. She was never married to him. So these women literally go to California to extort men that really did not even want to have children with them. They go to California because California allows it because of their extremely liberal laws. That is disgusting. That is so predatory. It's insane. See, when a person like me grows into, in the future, I grow into a position and I'm able to sit down with my colleagues and we're able to change policy. This isn't even something that you can argue. There's no counter side to this that doesn't include fraud, coercion, or anything that's unbalanced. You would literally have to be on the other end of this, and you'd have to promote and be okay with extortion. You would have to be okay with people preying on you and targeting you and men being punished using kids, and that it's not being equal. You would have to fight on behalf of inequality just for this to make sense. Someone like myself being able to argue this in front of other people, and not even, it wouldn't even really be an argument. I would just present the case and see if it stands up on its merits. They do not. We would literally change the laws. And it would be on a federal level. Each state should not have to, you shouldn't be able to just choose which state you want to go to and see how much more money you can extort from a man based on the geographic location. These women are moving across the country to California just so that they can live off of a man who's not with them, only because they had a kid that the man didn't even consent to having with you. If you want to have these kids, you pay for them on your own. If the man doesn't consent, there should not be anything a court can do to force him to pay. His wallet, his choice. Remember, these laws are from the 1930s. It's no longer 1930. Eventually, these laws will change. This isn't constitutional. This is all, actually, I would say these laws are actually unconstitutional. Child support itself is fraud. Child support is actually a grant given to women from the courts. And if the state, and grant money isn't typically paid back. So when they go after these men to get back the money that they're paying out to these women sometimes, that's unconstitutional also, because I didn't consent to it. If the state wants to grant this woman assistance and give her money, you can't penalize me and go and say, well, this man, we're going to force him to do something that he didn't consent to do. He's an unwilling participant in this whole matter. It doesn't add up. Edward maintains that Howard discovered perpetual conflict is more profitable than resolution. Yeah, she figured out that conflict is more profitable than resolution. He wants to get this over with, and once they settle, no one's going to care about her no more. She'll be a woman with a lump sum of temporary money like the rest of them. Think about it. A woman with all those surgeries and no work ethic and a child, that money's, even if he gave her $2 million, $5 million, it'll all be gone in a matter of years, maybe 2 years. Most women, even if it's 20 million, look at Shannon Sharp. I bet you the woman that got that money from Shannon Sharp, I guarantee half of that settlement, I bet you half of it is already gone. Because for one thing, you're a woman. Everyone in your life is going to ask you for help. And you are going to say, well, I want to be giving. I want to be a philanthropist. Because you're a woman, you're not thinking that I really don't have the money. It's physically there, but I'm not generating that kind of money. Once it's gone, how am I going to replace it? Women are not known for foresight. They're not going to be considering the fact that once that money's gone, there is no other settlement. You're going to literally be looking for another man to extort in only a few years. But you publicly did this. No one's going to be foolish enough who's worth anything to get you pregnant again or to marry you. That money is going to be gone. That's why I'm like, it's not even a loss for the men. The men can replace this money. These women cannot. Yeah, you successfully extorted this man. Congratulations. You're going to burn through that money because you didn't earn it. People don't understand that. When you don't earn something, you don't appreciate it. And money is a perfect example. You take it for granted. I had an ex-girlfriend like this before. I pay all the bills. I take care of her. And I used to wonder, why are you offering to help your relatives and help your friends? And she would come to me like, oh, I wanted to send some money to such and such. And I'm like, but you're poor. You don't have any money. You don't work. You live off of me. You live here with me. So when I eat, you eat. When I go somewhere, you go somewhere. When I go for drinks, you go for drinks by default. Why are your friends and your family members asking you for money? Don't they know you don't work? Don't they know you're poor? Don't they know you don't own anything? Everything is mine. Everything is through me. I'm your boyfriend. I'm not even your husband. We don't have any kids. Why is your mom, why is your friends, why is your dad, why are all these people so comfortable asking their daughter who has no job and no money, why are they so comfortable asking you for anything? It's because they see who she's with, they see where she lives, they see what I drive, and they're thinking it's her too. No, it's not. Your daughter doesn't work. She doesn't have a job. Now, if she goes out and get a job, she can give you guys whatever part of her check, whatever. That's why I don't enable women anymore. Any woman, if you're going to move into my house, you're going to be paying bills. Or you can don't live with me. Go live somewhere. You're not going to live for free anywhere. Go live with your mom, go live with your girlfriend. But even two women are going to get tired of paying for everything by themselves. But you don't have the choice to opt out of being an adult. We live in the future. We live in the age of equality now. Women have agency. She's not my responsibility. I remember a bunch of people were, oh man, I seen your ex. What happened to her? Would you do? And I'm like, what do you mean? What did I do? She's grown. I'm grown. If she doesn't want to take care of herself, if she wants to go get drunk and get high and do all that and not eat any food and don't work out, man, that's on her. I was her boyfriend at the time, not even her boyfriend anymore. Stop putting everything on the men. Women are equals. Women are men now. There's no difference between a man and a woman anymore. Ask Ketanji Brown Simpson. She can't even tell you what a fucking woman is. Nobody knows anymore. They're the same as men. Treat them like that. They have agency. They can choose what they want to do with themselves. This whole, I got to give her money. I feel sorry for her because she has a kid. And, well, he has money, and that's none of her business. He can have money. That doesn't mean he owes her anything. You can't penalize a man. We both decided to have sex. If a child comes out of it, we both have to support the child equally. I should not be expected to spend more on the child than you just because I have more money than you. I work harder than you too. That's a difference. We can't keep rewarding that, or men are going to continue to not get married and not want to have kids with women in this country. It just doesn't even make sense anymore. You have to stop the illegal exploitation of these children. Children are not a revenue generating asset. They're people. These women have to learn to treat these children as people and not as a commodity that she can cash in when she needs stuff. Women are living off of giving birth. They don't want to work. They just want to give birth for a living. All of this welfare nonsense has to stop. It destroys our society. Our society's right. It doesn't seem like it, cars on the freeway, but our society's crumbling. Again, they're closing maternity wards in hospitals. That means people don't even have kids anymore. But how are you going to have a kid without a man willing to get you pregnant on purpose? You can't have kids. And without kids, you don't have a society. This is just my opinions. Let me know if you agree or you don't agree. I'm going to put up the shorts. I'm going to put this. We're on 7 different platforms right now. The Cash App's at the bottom if you want to make a donation. If you want to buy me a coffee I don't drink coffee. Want to buy me a tea, you're welcome. I do accept those. I'm not monetized on YouTube or anything yet. These are new pages. But if you enjoy my content, you want to hear more and you want to support it, or you want to come on to the show and you want to debate me on a topic, I'm open. I'm wearing a red MAGA hat for a reason. Obviously, I'm right-leaning. I'm pro-Trump. I'm pro-America. So if you have any counter arguments or you want to say anything to me, good or bad, you're more than welcome to come on here. I'll give you the link and you're welcome to join the conversation. Like I said, I'm tired of seeing men get extorted because other men watch this and we say, not me. I don't care if I work at McDonald's. I'm not giving up my McDonald's check because I had sex with you. We both are giving up our checks, or the kid's going to live with me and you're going to get nothing. But the whole you're going to keep the baby, but you don't work and you're poor. Why would a kid of mine that's not poor live with a woman that is poor? None of this makes sense. It doesn't make sense. A man and a woman are the same. A man can be the primary caregiver. Doesn't need to live with the mom anymore. The mom can't afford it. You come live with the dad. I grew up with my dad. I lived with my dad, so it is possible. And it's actually women, single mothers, produce the worst results. Single mothers produce the worst product out of any situation. Your kids are better off living with their father if you can't afford to take care of the kid on your own without asking for child support. Child support means you got to force the man to pay. That means he doesn't even want to pay. He doesn't even want to deal with you. That says a lot about you. You were busting it open and he didn't even want to deal with you, or you try to force him. You try to extort him. Men aren't dumb. You're not going to force me to do nothing. I couldn't force you to do nothing. You can't force me to do anything. And we resent that. And then men end up resenting the kids because of the mother, and then the kids don't have a father. And we see what all these fatherless homes in Chicago and all these other cities, see what that produces. Crime and murder. We don't need that. The country has to go in a different direction. These laws have to change. Right-wing RICO, the single boyfriend, Cash App, $, the single boyfriend. Thank you for tuning in and sharing the video. I appreciate all the new followers. We're up to 2,400 subscribers now. Hopefully we'll get to 3,000 soon, and then 5,000 and up and up. And I do appreciate you guys. I'm gonna do more content. I have some more video. We're gonna probably go live another like 3 or 4 times today. So just tune in. We have a lot of different things to talk about. And I appreciate you guys for sending me topics and just being here. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll be back shortly.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.